me tell you about a friend. It's Craig LeBlanc where the good times never end. Talking Parks and Rec, it's a show you gotta know. Welcome one and all to the Daily Parks and Rec Show. It's the Daily Parks and Rec Show.
I mean, development of our mind, people aren't like taking off work and physically working to go do this thing. It's just a thing that they've developed now as a hobby. I think the proof of that has been shown through the demonstration of, I've had a couple of board members catch me, after about the first 8 to 12 months I was in this position and say, this person has really changed, like for the good. One individual lost about 80 pounds. Their mindset is different when they come to work. The way that they view the entire workforce now as one team, not individual entities.
Welcome back to the Daily Parks and Rec Show, Leadership Series. Today we're joined by Jeff Edwards, Executive Director and CEO of River Parks Authority in Tulsa, Oklahoma. From his early days DJing and dreaming of architecture to leading one of the nation's most innovative outdoor trail systems, Jeff's journey is proof that Parks and Rec is more than a career, it's a calling. He shares how mentorship, passion, and a vision for healthier communities turned a childhood love for cycling into a lifelong mission of connection, wellness, and legacy. Because Parks and Recreation isn't just about open spaces, it's about opening opportunities for everyone. Let's dive in. All right, we are live again, our fourth show of the week. This is Craig LeBlanc, the doorman with the Daily Parks and Rec Show, our leadership series, which is every Monday through Thursday, 12 noon Eastern. We have a special guest from Tulsa, Oklahoma River Parks Authority. Jeff, how are you doing today?
Doing great, Craig. How are you?
Fantastic. Having a good week. No explosions yet, but the week is still young.
Yeah, same here.
We'll see how it goes. Before we get started, we're going to play a couple of promos for Palco Supply. They supply LED lights to the Parks and Rec industry directly to your maintenance department. If y'all would like to swap your lights out for 100,000 hour municipal grade light fixtures, please give them a call. They're a big supporter of the channel. And then after that, we're going to play how strategic partners can help us. We're up to 16 strategic partners that we're either in conversations with or have already started shows for. So we've got a lot of stuff going here at the Daily Parks and Rec Show. So Sherry, why don't you go ahead and hit those two, and then we'll come right back and start our conversation with Jeff. When we talk about essential services, what comes to mind? Police, firefighters. Whoops, sorry, hit the wrong one. Top left, number 8 and 5.
When you invest in our high-performance LED sports arena lights, you're not just upgrading your facilities, you're helping us illuminate the untold stories of parks and recreation communities. Every purchase directly supports the Daily Parks and Rec Show, a media platform on a mission to celebrate the heart and soul of our local parks and programs. From after-school activities to summer leagues, these spaces shape lives, and their stories deserve to be told. Why your support matters. Capturing community impact. Your contribution helps us assemble a talented team of digital artists, storytellers, and filmmakers to create compelling videos, articles, and short films that spotlight how Parks and Rec programs change lives. Sharing untold stories. From a child's first home run to lifelong friendships forged on the court, we'll document these priceless moments and share them with the world. Inspiring the next generation. By highlighting the joy, inclusivity, and opportunities found in our parks, we foster a deeper appreciation for these vital community spaces. Light up arenas, brighten futures. Your choice to install LED sports arena lights isn't just a smart investment in energy efficiency and performance, it's an investment in stories that deserve to be told. Be part of the story. Take action today. Purchase LED sports arena lights and help us shine a spotlight on the heartwarming stories that define our parks and communities. Contact us now to learn more about our products and how your support fuels the daily Parks and Rec show. Together, we'll shine a light on the moments that matter most.
Are you a vendor, brand, or service provider ready to connect with the heartbeat of local communities? At DPRS Media Co., we tell the stories shaping parks and recreation across America. Through podcasts, live streams, videos, and newsletters, we reach frontline leaders, city directors, and decision makers every single week. From youth sports and facilities to programming and policy, our audience is your audience. Sponsoring or partnering with DPRS Media Co. puts your brand in front of the professionals who build, budget, and buy for their communities. Launching a new product, growing your presence in public spaces, targeting cities, counties, or departments, DPRS is your trusted media partner. Whether you're in software, turf, aquatics, robotics, smart cities, or special events, partnering with DPRS puts your brand in the story. With commercials, interviews, social campaigns, newsletters, and live shows, we're your media team. Partner with us and grow your impact in the $200 billion Parks and Rec industry. DPRS Media Co. Stories that move Parks and Rec forward. Your audience is here. Let's meet them.
All right, so if you need LED lights, or if you'd like to be a strategic partner, the strategic partner slots are filling up fast, and we only have a limited space for them. So reach out to us on LinkedIn and help us co-create this show. All right, so now we're going to get into what Jeff does in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Jeff, why don't you maybe give people a little backstory about your journey into what you're doing today,
Yeah.
as they get to know you a little bit better.
Okay, sounds great. Yeah, so my name's Jeff Edwards. I'm the CEO and Executive Director of the River Parks Authority. I've been with this agency now about 3 years. Prior to that, I served a municipal or a municipality just west of Tulsa for about 18 years. And then previous to that, it's really where I got my start in, I say, parks and recreation, really the recreation side at the University of Oklahoma. So I've been in the business now 22 years. And it's been everything from kind of collegiate intramural sports development and maintenance activities alongside a rec center to the director of Parks and Recreation in Sand Springs, and now in this current position and role here at the River Parks Authority. I'm a journalism major, believe it or not, but I never went into to practice really radio or TV, which is kind of what my interest and my hobbies were at the time. I just happened to apply for a job at a local TV station in Oklahoma City after graduating University of Oklahoma, but the rec center that I worked at as a student said, "You can't leave us. We got to keep you somehow." So I kind of took that line of path, and I've never looked back. And I'm kind of glad I made that decision now, reflecting on this 22-year career that's just been so rewarding.
Now, what interested you as a young person to journalism and TV stuff? Is that something you just
Oddly enough, I started as an architect major, and I think we can all attest to you maybe never really go for that first major that you claim. Although I'm still interested in architecture, obviously do a lot of work with that, with Parks and Rec development and our open spaces. But the thing that I had done that kind of led me to that space was I was a mobile DJ at the time. And I had kind of picked up a business that my dad had, and he had passed away. And oddly enough, it was kind of one of those things that I was forced into. And I'm one of those individuals, I have a hard time saying no. I need to learn that word more. And they called the house and they were like, "Hey, just confirming this dance that we're going to have." And I was like, "Oh, actually my dad passed away, but maybe I could do it." And so I picked it up. And just kind of stuck with that through college. So when I decided, you know what, I don't really want to do this architecture thing. What's the next best route or avenue? And was really interested kind of in that broadcast journalism aspect. So that's really how I kind of got the interest in that.
That's crazy. So my father as well kind of was a hobbyist DJ and had a trailer that full of PV speakers and soundboards and amps and
Same
bass
here.
stuff.
Same here. And how the industry has changed. I would love to be
Oh,
a DJ today. I literally, I'll bet. So I had one of those. This is going to show my age. I had one of those subscriptions to the CD
yeah.
kind of what would you call it, delivery system,
Yep.
where I would just get 12 CDs a month. Gosh, I had so many CDs that I had to wade through as you were kind of producing a 3-hour dance show. But it
Right.
was fun. It was a lot of work, and I kind of gave that up when kiddos came along. So
What type of speakers did y'all run?
I had Peavy.
Yeah.
Yep.
We had
Yep.
those SP2Gs that weighed like 50 plus pounds a piece,
Yep.
or maybe more. And now all
Yeah.
the speakers are made out of ceramics and are super light, and
Yeah.
everything's much more streamlined.
Yeah, you went from this, like, if you had a setup that was huge and a tall truss structure with lighting on it and all that, you were the DJ. Now it's
Oh, yeah.
like, hey, I show up with a turntable and a couple of speakers that put out the same amount of sound that we had in what, eight or 12 speakers.
Yeah.
Gosh, you're kind of talking me into maybe wanting to go DJ something here soon.
Oh, I know. I know. I was surrounded by sound systems my entire life.
Yeah.
And now everything has just been shrunk. And then all the CDs now are just live streamed from pick a company,
Yeah.
Spotify, StreamYard, Apple Play. It's like every song you could imagine, digitally
Yeah,
perfected, no scratch CDs and stuff.
for sure.
Well, and then fast forward, I had a career in manufacturing, and now I'm back into creating content and stuff. So maybe it's not over yet for you. You can still create,
Retirement opportunity, maybe.
right?
Though I would say, from my perspective, at least my seat here in kind of the Mid-South, Tulsa, Oklahoma, a journalism degree isn't necessarily a bad thing, because what it teaches you to do is, at this position or this level, kind of navigate some of those waters when you have issues or complexities that the media obviously wants a response for and from your organization. And then in terms of grant writing and all that stuff, I mean, it's certainly lended itself well to this career path. So just because, a job description may say, hey, we want you to have a Parks and Recreation Management degree, don't write off another degree just by sake of them saying, hey, that's the degree I want. So
Yeah. It's definitely that there's so many degrees that are in Parks and Rec that people bring from either a former career, or they just didn't even know Parks and Rec was a thing until after they had already graduated. And so
yeah.
they got this whatever accounting degree, and then they end up in Parks and Rec with an accounting degree. And so
Yeah.
it's super common. Okay, so tell us about your first maybe year in Parks and Rec officially as a grad. Did you come right out of college into it? And
Yeah,
pretty much
right out
right
of
away?
college. Really, I transitioned from a student employee to a professional staffer at the University of Oklahoma. And it was all about serving the student body and faculty body of the University of Oklahoma in recreational services. So that was everything from outdoor activities, primarily intramural sports, to the indoor rec center, where we facilitated aerobic classes, personal training, exercising, weight equipment, basketball courts, volleyball, badminton, racquetball, all the above, in like about a 50,000 square foot facility. So it was something that I just kind of fell into naturally, because I'd worked there for about 3 years as a student. And it just felt so right to me. And I'm a very active person, played 3 sports growing up, all the way up to roughly 18. And so just kind of having that mindset of, I always had some sort of sport activity in my life. It just felt natural to kind of work into a profession that promoted healthy outdoor and active lifestyle. I'm a identical twin, believe it or not. My identical twin brother lives in Edmond, Oklahoma, so about an hour and a half from my location. And we actually constantly get called the other person, because enough people now kind of know us both, and we're not that far apart that he'll often get called Jeff by Parks and Recreation professionals in the Oklahoma City area. But having grown up with the twin, I always had kind of a built-in friend right at my disposal. And if we didn't play or have a baseball game that day, we quite literally got on our bicycles and we were gone all day, every day. So that's really kind of what I think has been so rewarding for me, is now my job is molded into this sense of, here at the River Parks Authority, we're really providing outdoor trail space along the Arkansas River, specific land management practices and biodiversity for an Arkansas River corridor. And it's all based around really cycling and running activities in the trail network in the Tulsa region. So it's almost kind of like, sometimes you got to pinch yourself and say, gosh, when I was a kid, what would I do when I was just burning time and playing? I was out on my bike, and now we get to promote a lot of those activities today. And it's really been rewarding in that sense. But really, I think where I got most of my time and tenure and expertise was in the city of Sand Springs, where is actually it's the community I grew up in. So it was easy for me to go back to and leave the University of Oklahoma. And the only reason I left OU was my wife's a drug rep. She had a job opportunity pop up to say, hey, you can move from the Oklahoma City area to the Tulsa area, but guess what? You have to let us know in like the next 2 hours. So her and I had a quick conversation of, hey, could we fathom relocating back to kind of our hometown area? We had just had our first daughter. She was 3 months old, and it was kind of a no-brainer because family was back here. The OU job was great, but, was it really prime growth opportunity for career-wise? Maybe not. So we made the decision to move and really got that full 18 years of experience, had a great mentor there, started as a superintendent level at the ripe age of 25, I think, and really just trying to lead a team and an organization and a park system that I knew quite well because I'd spent so much time there as a kid. And I really wanted to see some vast improvements, as did the director who was there at the time. And the director was my mentor that really kind of lifted me up and brought me up into really my current role and where I'm at today. So most of that time was really, I say, kind of on the job, really just passion. And hey, I want the environment and the park space to be better today than it was for me when I was a kid. And if we leave it better than we found it, we're moving in the right direction. And then obviously that great mentorship along the way, 18 years of, we built everything from the Keystone Ancient Forest, which is a 1,300-acre nature preserve dedicated to old growth forest in Oklahoma. It would show you what a true old growth forest would look like. And although the trees aren't grand and vast in size, they are in age 300 to 500 years old. And Case Community Park, a new recreation center, a total rebuild of sports complexes. And then really that's kind of where my love of architecture came back in. I kind of moved and navigated between so many different positions. And that's what's great about, I think, Parks and Rec too, is you can start in one position and then some folks realize, I think good managers and good department heads realize, hey, this person has potential in other areas. Let's plug them in there. As long as they don't work you to death, right? Reward you for that work. But I built probably 12 homes over the course of my life. A couple of those have been my own home. So really was still interested and had a passion for architecture. I could kind of visualize a project before it was put on paper. So I got plugged into a lot of project management and was able to really kind of talk about in-house mobilization of your staff, teaching on-the-job training. Hey guys, we're going to go rebuild this park, as opposed to hiring a landscape architect, a construction team. I led a lot of efforts in the field with that regard to actually rebuild full parks. So that was really, really the most rewarding part, and probably how I so fell in love with this career and profession, is that I was getting to do that in the community that I grew up in. It felt natural. It felt like home. In my mission, it felt like it had purpose. And now obviously that's led me to this position. It just me speaking in regard to the River Parks Authority, Tulsa's kind of unique. We have actually 4 park agencies in Tulsa. One's the River Parks Authority, who specifically manages land within Tulsa County, so it doesn't have to stay in Tulsa proper. along the Arkansas River corridor, period. That's our one and only focus and mission. I think what's great about that is that it really allows us to focus on that mission. And that was due in part to a 75th birthday present to the citizens of Tulsa. They formed this.
River Parks you're talking about? They formed
Yeah,
River Parks?
yeah, River
Yeah.
Parks. Yep.
Maybe
Uh,
explain how that's different from your traditional municipal
Yeah.
run.
So the other three park agencies in Tulsa are the City of Tulsa Parks System, Tulsa County Park System, which not everybody has a city and a county park system, and then the Gathering Place, which is somewhat under the umbrella of the River Parks Authority, but they're actually privately operated. So it's a privately operated public park. So four park agencies is very kind of rare in terms of a population size of 500,000 proper, but over 1 million with surrounding areas. And the River Parks Authority, we're a public trust agency, so quasi-government. The city and the county are our beneficiaries. So both the city of Tulsa and Tulsa County say, hey, we're all in. If this authority or trust ever went away, then that land and the stewardship of everything they have done would come back to us 50-50. Our funding cycle is set up roughly 50-50 between each agency, but as we all know we're in a current government shutdown right now with the growing pains of operational budgets. The River Parks Authority, we have a River Parks Foundation that oddly enough, our park system development is about $180-190 million system, and over half of that has been privately fundraised. So our board really, you talk about good partnerships and collaboration opportunity. That's where this organization, we kind of look at it as kind of a top tier department to maybe replicate or try and idolize. We plug in board members who have not only one, first, the passion for the park system, but two, the ability to help us spread our wings, tap into those resources, and really go out and raise a lot of private funds for one, our operations, but two, really the capital growth of the park system.
Now, how does that help you? How is fundraising different as opposed to fundraising through a city? And I know cities still can, like on their special events, get local vendors to sponsor, whatever a special event.
I know
How is
some
fundraising?
some cities have a foundation that they can fundraise through. Some cities don't, and it's my understanding that those that don't, it's quite a bit more difficult to kind of fundraise through that avenue. For us, we have a foundation that has a separate board from our board of trustees of the authority. And they basically give me the free rein to, hey, take the ball. You know what our mission is. You know what our guidance is, raise as many dollars as you can. So I can quite literally make a contact through, although, my affiliation is with the authority, the foundation has quite a bit of funding at their discretion that they can send me out to go make those points of contacts, and or our authority board members and foundation board members really can make those, really open the door for us, for folks. And we've got a couple of individuals on staff who get plugged into tapping into those resources. So I'm probably just in like a monthly standpoint, talking to a couple of donors a week. And then usually, we're talking to our consistent donors weekly, just updates on project status and or kind of what's on the cusp of the future development.
Can you describe your average or your ideal donor and approximately, what kind of, what do their donations look like? Is it
Yeah, so
one time, once a month, once a year?
I'll talk about the George Kaiser Family Foundation, and Tulsa's coined the phrase of America's most giving city. That's a double-edged sword, right? It's a blessing and a curse because we do have a pretty large umbrella of folks that we can reach out to through the Tulsa Community Foundation, which is a local foundation that facilitates the culmination of all these folks who say, hey, I've done pretty good with my career. I have some wealth and I'd like to spread that out through the community. But the George Kaiser Family Foundation really from day one has been River Parks Authority's biggest fan. Whether it's the development of the trail system, the expansion of it, we've actually gone from, what would be just a regular 10-foot wide trail to a multi-lane trail where we have two 10-foot wide trails One's for walking activity only, one's for cycling activity. We facilitate about 1.5 million visits a year, so a really heavily used park system, and they are the organization that led that effort. So think about 15 years ago, they just came forward and said, really without any request, hey, I want to make this trail system better. Here's $12 million. Go make that happen. So you go from everything from something like that, a pretty significant, in my mind, book, $12 million gift to go revitalize a portion of an existing infrastructure that you have, I just took a donation for about $500,000 from a local foundation in support of a visitor center that we're going to facilitate here over the next couple of years at Turkey Mountain Urban Wilderness area. And then, we just actually hosted an event. It's a gala we host every other year called Wild Turkey. It's at Turkey Mountain. It directly benefits the resources at Turkey Mountain. And just so people can get an idea of what that space is, it's about 750 acres, and it's a nature preserve in the middle of Tulsa. So what we're doing there is preserving, the historical landscape of Oklahoma, heavily wooded area. It's got topography change. And if you're in the middle of Turkey Mountain, you actually don't even realize you're in the middle of a city. So that's where its value is, and it's been so loved by the community. Roughly 50 miles of soft surface trail, and has just recently been renovated and expanded due in part to a major fundraising campaign that one of our board members led up. So they raised about $8 million for that project over the course of 3 years. And then we were able to garner that public funding. So many times it's like when you go to the public funding side, it's what's the private support doing, and then vice versa. So we were able to really double our money there. $15 million project, completely rebuild these trails. It's catapulted the use of that outdoor space in a sense of, we all saw how important really outdoor open space was during the COVID era. And that's when this master plan came to fruition. And it was almost the perfect storm. COVID happened, our usership at that property skyrocketed. Nobody could do anything else really. Usership on our trail system skyrocketed. And they're like, my gosh, we haven't invested enough money in Turkey Mountain lately. Let's go do that. And now today here, 3 years later, 4 years later, we have grown attendance from about 100,000 visits a year to we'll go over 300,000 visits this year.
Wow.
And a lot of that's through tourism and economic development. There's a little bit of a clash between the hiking side and the mountain biking side. We do have mixed use trails.
What's the clash
trails.
look like?
Yeah,
How are they clashing?
Well, it's just that, mountain bikers need to give way to hikers. Hikers are slower than mountain bikers. Mountain bikers are going, 10 to 12, 13, 14 miles an hour on the trail. We should really stop. And I say I'm a mountain biker, a heavy mountain biker. I compete actually in the state in mountain biking. We should yield to them. And it just never really works that way. So there's where kind of that clash is, where we teach trail etiquette, but it's just human nature. People are like, well, I'm going faster than you, so you should move over. So you do get a little bit of clashing there with that mixed use development. But by and large, really, really wildly successful. In terms of that economic development, and I think we all know Northwest Arkansas, the Bentonville area, that whole mountain biking capital of the world. Mountain biking is a huge economic driver, and Tulsa is absolutely capitalizing on that right now. We also have a local organization called the Tulsa Bike Club. They've been in the ground for about 12 years now, really as an after-school program for Tulsa Public Schools to, hey, kiddos, if you're interested in bikes, we'll teach you how to ride a bike. We'll be together for about an hour and a half. At the end of this, most of these kids can't afford a bike. They actually give them a bike to take home for the summer. And with the implementation of that, it's really opened the eyes even to the larger donors prospect of the importance of getting kids outside and on bikes, and the bike industry here is reaped the rewards of that. So we're seeing a lot of economic development and tourism from that aspect directly, by and large, due to that biking community.
Yeah, maybe you can explain to those not familiar with the biking industry. I had a little exposure to it when I went to the Arkansas Parks and Rec. Northwest Arkansas.
Northwest, yep. With the whole Bentonville, Bella Vista,
Yeah.
Fayetteville, that kind of that 5-region zone there, where the Walton Family Foundation, Walmart, for those of you who don't know, they're based out of the Fayetteville area. And they've really infused a lot of dollars and took the stance of, hey, we are going to be known as the mountain biking capital of the world.
They have.
I think I know they're over 200 miles. It seems to me that I last heard they're trying to approach about 400 miles of mountain biking trail in the area, which is also mixed use, but they really have capitalized on that. So in terms of tourism from kind of the mountain biking standpoint, you need at least 10 to 15 miles of sustainable trail to encourage somebody to come spend the day with you. And then outside of that, it's like, hey, we're really trying to get folks to stay over the weekend. That's hotel motel tax dollars. It's eating at your restaurant, shopping at your shopping centers, all of those things. So Bentonville kind of as the idolist of hey, we want to go be something like that. Go spend some time in Bentonville, or come to Tulsa, and we'd be happy to show you what we've done. And a lot of the shopping areas, we actually have a very large shopping area adjacent to Turkey Mountain, and a hotel area adjacent to Turkey Mountain, and they're definitely seeing some of the rewards of that work.
Yeah, actually, one of the Walton's grandsons is a huge mountain biker, and he was kind of the catalyst for getting Walmart to get unusually high quality mountain bikes in all Walmarts. And it was because of that grandson having a passion for it. And he actually spoke at the Arkansas annual convention, and it was all about mountain biking. And so that whole part of the country, kind of where you're at, is got great topography without too much snowfall.
Yeah, so it does. Well, and when a lot of people think of Oklahoma, they're like, oh, that's flat and boring. The Tulsa area is not. We actually have some topography change. So we're not too much unlike the Northwest Arkansas area, and being only roughly just under 2 hours travel time between the two. A lot of folks come through Oklahoma from Colorado to go mountain biking in Northwest Arkansas. They're now making the stop here. They can kind of use both venues as a vacation for them to come out and play. Yeah.
All right. So we're at the halfway point. So I wanted to play a couple of videos. I changed it up a little because of what you said. We actually created somewhat of a short film for the Parks and Rec industry. And it's why Parks and Rec is an essential service. And then right after that, we're going to play a promotion for the show, the Youth Sports Mastery Show, which is right after that. So Sherry, why don't you go ahead and play number 1 and number 7. And then Jeff, I'd love to get your feedback on this short film that we made. So Sherry, go ahead and hit it.
When we talk about essential services, what comes to mind? Police, firefighters, healthcare. But there's another essential service, often overlooked, yet always present: parks and recreation. Parks and Rec is health. It's the walking trail that lowers blood pressure, the recreation center where seniors fight isolation, the swim lessons that prevent tragedy before it happens. This isn't a luxury, it's a lifeline. Parks and Rec is safety. A playground instead of a street corner, a basketball court instead of trouble, a summer camp where every child belongs. It's not just about activity, it's about protection, prevention, and possibility. Parks and Rec is community, the festival that brings neighbors together, the cultural event that teaches respect and diversity, the open space where a city breathes. It builds bridges where division once stood. It gives people a reason to gather, to connect, to care. And Parks and Rec is economics. It strengthens property values. It drives tourism through events and trails. It saves on healthcare costs. Every dollar invested multiplies, feeding back into schools, into safety, into growth. Essential service is not just about survival, it's about thriving. And Parks and Recreation is where thriving begins. In wellness, in equity, in culture, and in joy. Parks and Rec isn't extra, it's essential. For our health, for our safety, for our communities, for our future. A message from the Parks and Recreation community.
At DPRS Media Co., we don't just create content, we elevate community through storytelling. Now, we're proud to introduce the newest addition to the family. Welcome to Youth Sports Mastery, the podcast where champions are shaped, not just on the field, but in life. Hosted by National Academy of Athletics founder Aaron Locks. Youth Sports Mastery dives deep into how youth sports can empower kids, strengthen communities, and build leaders. From coaching culture to recreation strategy, and from player development to parent impact, every episode brings game-ready insight from the people making it happen. Youth Sports Mastery goes live every Thursday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Only on the Daily Parks and Rec Show, sponsored by National Academy of Athletics and powered by DPRS Media Co. This is where purpose meets play.
All right, so stay tuned. Almost immediately followed 1:30 p.m. Eastern, which is coming up here shortly. Right after this show, the Youth Sports Mastery Show starts. But I wanted to get your feedback on that essential services program that we made.
I love this topic only because and those that are in the municipal world really get this a lot. I mean, we're all battling for those dollars for what we think are essential services. Parks and Recreation has so often been looked at as, hey, it's a step below the essential. We take care of public safety first. We have roads and infrastructure. We have utility infrastructure that we have to provide our citizens. Those are the essential services. But with regard to really that public safety side, the police and fire, it's, in my mind, it's somewhat of a reactive measure to serving the community. Parks and Recreation is the proactive measure. And so what we need to do is just continue to emphasize that to any state, local, regional, national leader who wants to listen to it. Let's get those kids involved early on so that maybe law enforcement doesn't have to be involved later on. That's just always kind of been my passion and my mission to preach that to, somebody who may not have a Parks and Recreation background is the police and the fire guys. They're some of my best friends. And even they have said, yeah, we definitely see a difference in the way kind of the communities, the different parts of towns, those that are more involved in Parks and Recreation activities than those that are less involved or don't have as much access. I mean, for lack of a better reason, they don't have anything to do. So they're probably going to create mischief and get into trouble, and crime's going to be on the rise. So we can look at that as Parks and Recreation as being the proactive measure instead of reacting to what we're dealing with. And I feel like we've kind of gone backwards in I say America in that sense, because me as a young kid, again, out on my bike, I had no fear of anything. I didn't have stranger danger problems. I could roam the neighborhood pretty securely, and you just can't really do that today, right? So we're a little bit more locked into this culture that we have and the current economy that we're in. But I sure wish, and I'm going to sound really old now because I think my grandparents used to say this, but gosh, back in the old days, how good we had it.
Mhm.
I want to get back to those days. I don't know how we ever do, but that's kind of my take on it.
Yeah, and you could even say that that old, I forget that old quote. It was an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, that a dollar spent in Parks and Rec can prevent $10 spent with the police department.
Yeah, yeah,
Because now, like you said, you're reacting to a long, maybe 10-year problem of a child just getting in the
yeah,
mischief versus being part of a little sports team, having a good group of friends, having a solid coach over a decade that can really
exactly.
raise a responsible adult. And then maybe speak even about the healthcare side. If we consider healthcare as an essential service, how does
Right.
Parks and Rec prevent more healthcare needed?
One of my greatest donors to date is a fairly new foundation, and they primarily focus on mental health awareness and the outcomes of that. Those of you in the cycling world will know of the event Tulsa Tough. It's one of the largest criteriums in the United States of America. And the top athletes from all around the world come to compete in the criteriums here in Tulsa for 3 days. And this foundation has not only gotten involved with the River Parks Authority in a sense of outdoor open space and that mental health awareness initiative that kind of falls in line with the value of outdoor open spaces. And I know there's a lot of studies out there on water can have a calming effect for you. So get out and go recreate by water. That's beneficial to us because we manage all these spaces along the river. But this foundation has also gotten directly involved with Tulsa Tough and in men specifically, because men are, I think we put up a guard and we're sheltered in a sense of we don't want to share or communicate some of the struggles or the issues that we have. So this family, the Daryl and Julie Christner Family Foundation, not only have invested a couple of $1 million directly to the Turkey Mountain movement, and it just so happened that Daryl Christner was a heavy mountain bike rider at Turkey Mountain, so he was passionate about it. But they wanted to spread the good word of mental illness, being aware of that, being cognizant of, hey, I should probably talk to somebody. They have developed Project Dude Man is what it's called, through the Tulsa Tough organization. And we have an ex-pro cyclist here named Brad Huff leading that project, specifically geared for men who just want an outlet. You don't have to be a phenomenal cyclist. We've got everything from guys that can ride 22 miles an hour average to guys that want to just ride at 10 miles an hour average. And they get together every week, and it's just an outlet for folks. So when you think about that healthcare side, I mean, my wife's kind of in the healthcare business and industry. So outside of medicine, what is the best avenue for us? And I know there's so many studies that just go back to say, hey, get out in nature, just go do a 15-minute walk every day. And I actually like to promote that even within our staffing organization. I'm very much an advocate of outdoor healthy lifestyles. I think that our employees, if we tell them, hey, go invest yourself into the very park atmosphere that we're providing to the citizens, they'll actually understand it more because they understand it from the user's perspective, in addition to the, hey, I'm a maintenance worker's perspective. So I've encouraged cycling activities for them. Hey, join these groups. We'll facilitate trying to assist paying for some of these programs for you to go into just to invest themselves. So I think what that's done here in the short 3 years that I've been here is, for, let's just hypothetically say a person in finance here never goes to the park system. And that encouragement for me to say, hey, go use it. Because when we come to you and say, hey, we need to spend $15,000 to go repair the lights in this area, you will get it one day. And we've really shifted some of the mentalities of the workforce here by simply just saying, hey, go use the park. And I think a little bit of that's tying back into that. I use cycling as my outlet and my way to kind of relieve stress and pressure. And I think that we're able to do that through our staffing levels as well.
Yeah. Now, where did that idea come from to get your I guess elected officials, the people in charge of okaying the expenses, It's such a smart idea to get them involved in the
Yeah,
park.
it's really through our board of directors and board of trustees, our foundation board members. I mean, we're not spending an immense amount of money, but we look at it as kind of employee training and development. I mean, development of our mind, what we've, and people aren't like taking off work and physically working to go do this thing. It's just a thing that they've developed now as a hobby. But it's been, I think the proof of that has been shown through the demonstration of, I've had a couple of board members catch me, after about the first 8 to 12 months I was in this position and say, this person has really changed, like for the good. One individual lost about 80 pounds. Their mindset is different when they come to work. The way that they view the entire workforce now as one team, not individual entities. There's always that maybe that internal battle too between parks, park maintenance, and recreation, and the two never mix. No, they actually mix wonderfully. And so I think just by showing them through proof of that, when I thought of this idea, I sent our foundation board an email and I said, hey, I want to spend just a little bit of money on what I would consider like staff development and encouragement. And they were all ears, hey, willing to try anything. And I think it's just shown now that's reciprocated in a good form and fashion with the regard to work productivity.
Yeah. Yeah. Now I want to go back to, and I'm going to play this a little ahead of schedule. And both of these videos, by the way, for everybody listening, our essential services video and our why parking lot should be considered as a career path video are not copyrighted, for free for you to play in front of elected officials or young kids that may want to work in Parks and Rec. We made them as a gift to y'all, so please use them. But I want to play this one. Sherry, it's our number 2. And then I'd love for us to talk about all the multi-disciplines that Parks and Rec needs and uses as part of delivering their services. So go ahead and hit number 2 and we'll get Jeff's feedback on that.
At DPR's Media Co., we believe Parks and Recreation isn't just a service, it's the heart. Every career is a choice, but few careers let you touch lives. Not once in a while, but every single day. Step into a park on a Saturday morning. You'll hear children laughing on the soccer field, families gathering for a picnic, seniors walking the trails, finding health and friendship. And behind every smile, every memory, is a Parks and Rec professional. We don't just mow fields, we grow confidence in young athletes. We don't just build playgrounds, we create safe spaces where childhood thrives. We don't just plan events, we design moments that anchor generations. Think of the coach who teaches patience, the director who champions equity, the staff member who sees potential in a child no one else believed in. Every day, Parks and Rec professionals shape character, preserve beauty, and strengthen community. And the path isn't easy. Budgets are tight, resources stretched thin, but the reward, unmatched. Because what you give comes back in legacy, in healthier communities, in lives forever changed. So why dedicate your life to Parks and Recreation? Because here, your work never ends. It lives on, in laughter echoing across playgrounds, in green spaces preserved for the next century, in the young professionals rising to lead tomorrow. This is not just a career, it's a calling, it's a legacy, it's Parks and Recreation. A message from the Parks and Rec community.
All right. So earlier in our conversation, you had mentioned about you get to all the different passions you get to feed: your architecture, your sports. Of course, you get to build your community. But what are the disciplines that you can think of that maybe first start with the ones you use, and then the ones that you need on your team?
I think first and foremost, you just need somebody on your team that is open-minded. and has a willingness to want to learn and spread their wings. I'm going to give one example because it came up about a year ago, and I had one of those aha epiphany moments where I was like, okay, this is working. It takes a while, but this is working. And this has been about probably 12 years ago that this took place. We had a summer seasonal worker working under my management, and his simple task was, hey, go weed eat the fence line at baseball. They have games tonight. And he rolled his eyes and he was like, oh, weed eating again. I'm so sick of weed eating. And I said, hey, don't think of it as weed eating. Think of it as you're creating a pleasant space for a kid who may have a moment tonight that they're going to remember for a lifetime. So you're not simply weed eating. You're creating this environment that somebody may reflect on 20, 30, 40 years from now. And he kind of brushed it off, really. And this individual was able to participate in a lot of other activities in maintenance. And a year ago, I got a call from PSO, a local power distribution service company here in Oklahoma, to install some historical signs. They have a facility just off of our trail system. They wanted to tell a story about it. I was like, oh, this is great. We'd love to do that. You know, it's way more than just the River Parks Authority. Let's tell the community story. And this kid showed up to the installation of that, and this was his idea. He was a line worker, and he had nothing to do with implementation of signs or the built environment or any of that. But he took that idea and he told me then, you guys had an impact on me when I worked in Parks and Recreation, and now I'm of age that I can appreciate where I see a need. I say something, and kind of a mid-level employee implementing and initiating that conversation with the CEO of the company and saying, hey, I think we should go do this. And I kind of had that aha moment, like, if you've got somebody on your team that's willing to listen and learn and really reflect on what you're doing right now may not just be the chore, the task that you're doing. Think about the long-term effect that that's going to have on somebody. And really, we all have so many kind of life-changing stories of that, but that one really kind of hit home to me because at the time the individual was 16 years old. How pliable are they? How absorbable are they to information? But this many years later, clearly he got that message at the time.
Yeah, that's and maybe even speak about how you're not pigeonholed into just one thing in Parks and Rec.
And if you've got a great team behind you, and in a sense of whether it's your park board, your city council, your city manager, the county commissioner or administrator, whoever it is, if you've got a great board who's flexible and allows you to do your job, which any good one would allow you to do your job and kind of spread your wings. Just because it may not be your job or responsibility, always have that open mind. I often found myself at the city of Sand Springs reaching beyond just my department to lend a hand, only because I had a little bit of knowledge or experience in that. As you said, don't pigeonhole yourself to, I'm going to use an example. Hey, I'm a rec manager. I run the community center. I'm not going to step outside of this facility because that's not my job. Go outside, sweep the curb line. You never know who you're going to see out there. We do attaboy cards here where we really promote and appreciate and then reward work that individuals do kind of outside of their normal scope. And it goes back to that whole saying, if you see something, say something or do something. And so I've always tried to promote that really through a way of a demonstration as opposed to through words. And in any position that I've held, I'm the current executive director of the River Parks Authority. I'll go out and if I see our maintenance crew picking up trash, I'll make a 15-minute stop and I'll go help them. It means the world to them. So just don't pigeonhole yourself, as you said. Don't think you're above any duty or responsibility. And really what's quite amazing, I think, is what we find is we can all get kind of laser focused on the chore. Hey, I need to do a presentation. That's all I'm going to work on today. But when you get yourself outside of that box, you go to the park system, one of the community members sees you there, and they stopped me because they knew who I was, and they gave us a compliment on some of the work that was going on in and around this Zinc Lake area that we have to manage. When you get that direct feedback, I think that's way more valuable than, hey, I spent an extra 30 minutes on that presentation, and I can wrap that up pretty quickly.
Yeah. Okay. So as we're coming to the end of the show, we have two traditions. First tradition is we have a question left for you by John Singleton, our previous guest for yesterday. And then you'll have to leave a question. But before we do that, imagine you're sitting in front of a group of college kids that don't really know what they want to do with the rest of their life, haven't chosen a career path. What would be your sales pitch / testimony to this industry as to why they should choose Parks and Rec?
So this is crazy. My mother-in-law was my English teacher in high school. And I started, her daughter asked me to her senior prom. I was a sophomore, so I was 2 years behind her. I had her mom twice, believe it or not. The first year I had her, I didn't know her. The last year I had her, I knew her quite well. I accidentally called her by her first name a few times. But what they ask you then in your senior English class is, what do you want to do with your life? Well, what does any 17, 18-year-old know for sure, without a shadow of a doubt, they want to do with their life? I made just a blanket statement. I want to help people. And oddly enough, kind of here I am doing that. So as you're sitting there thinking about what's your career path, what choice do you want to make, think about, maybe one, what are you passionate about? Don't worry about the money. The money will come eventually. But whatever you're passionate about, whatever your interests are, spread your wings in that arena, because you never know where that will lead you. I mean, quite honestly, when I started at OU, I loved the job because I was in a college environment, active people, sports oriented. That was my thing. I just like to be a part of it. And now look where it's landed me today. And I've had so many great mentors that have led me through that. So that's, I think, the biggest thing I can say is follow that passion.
Fantastic. Okay, so this comes from a professional basketball player turned one of the best coaches in America. He actually wrote a great book. And let's see, his question for you from John is, how many people, and this comes from always talk to people, you never know who you're going to meet, but how many people have you met this week that have changed your life? Or you could say this week, this month, this year, just in your job of Parks and Rec.
Probably, gosh, I'm going to say, I met one yesterday, believe it or not. So just in terms of this week, it's actually been a short week for me. I was off Monday and Tuesday,
Oh, wow.
but this week alone, I met a person yesterday in oddly enough, an interview that I'm helping facilitate in the Tulsa area. And she absolutely changed my life. It was the way that she presented her information. She didn't know a lot about Tulsa, but I would have been convinced and guaranteed that this gal knows everything there is to know about Tulsa. But overall, I mean, on a monthly basis, probably at least 8 to 10 people I get to meet. And my board is so fortunate to open their arms and their doors to folks that they have resourcefulness through that I get to communicate with. But I love the dialogue of that question is don't ever be afraid to talk. That goes back to that whole, hey, no question is a stupid question, because you never know what is going to unravel by the result of that question that's asked.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, so what question would you like to leave from our next guest?
Oh, gosh. Let's say, if you had it all over to do again, what profession do you think you would have started in based on where now you've landed?
If you had to do it all over again, what profession?
What profession would you have started in knowing now kind of where you're at in this life?
Would
I
you
only
have,
asked that question like for me, it would be, oh, well, I would have, I wouldn't have worked at a rec center as a student at a university. I mean, that's not going to take me anywhere. That's not going to take me to lead, one of the best organizations in the Tulsa area for Parks and Rec. So I'd be curious to hear that what they think. Like, is it the one that they're in now, or is it something different? Or
yeah,
the one that they started, or is it something different?
that's right. Maybe they should have kept going with the DJ stuff.
So
Fantastic.
they did call me because my name's Jeff, DJ Jazzy Jeff.
I love it.
So
I love it. Fantastic. Well, Jeff, thank you so much for coming on the show today and sharing everything that's
yeah,
going on.
thank you for having me.
Where can people find out more about you and River Parks and
Yeah,
how do
they
they
can
get
find
involved?
out more about me. I hate to say I have a LinkedIn account, and I'm so bad because I don't use professional growth like I should. I mean, I used it to land this gig I'm in now, but I'm on LinkedIn. But man, I'm more active on Facebook and Instagram, and then through our website riverparks.org. Really tells the story about that organization, and then can of course through LinkedIn connect with me via email or a text. And I'm on social media less and less and less lately, and out in the cycling world. But if you make a visit to Tulsa, yeah, be sure and look us up, and we'd be happy to plug you into the gathering place, give you a tour there, kind of behind the scenes, and any of the work that we've done here along the Arkansas River. We're about 80 miles of trail now here, so 80 miles and growing. We've got more development in the works over the next 5 years.
Well, fantastic. Hopefully we can connect one day in person. I can maybe attend your state association, and I'd love to visit Tulsa because it's one of the great cities of America, up and coming.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right. Appreciate you coming on the show today. Have a great rest of your week.
Thanks. You too, Craig.
All right. Take care. All right. So that was another great interview with Jeff Edwards over there in River Parks Authority. And it really is cool to see how these park systems, like he said, it's almost 4 park systems within serving one population center, and how they have these kind of trust funds that will pop up to really deliver excellent service. And wanted Jeff to come on and kind of tell us a little bit about that. Plus, Tulsa is another great city of America. If you haven't been, definitely worth the trip. All right, so we've got a busy November. We've got 3 in-person state conventions that we will be attending as DPRS Media Company, all back to back. So first, second, and third week of November. It's going to be, let me go ahead and pull this up real quick while I got it. We've got, let's see, is it KRPA? No, it's GRPA. So that's Georgia is going to be the first week, followed by Kentucky is going to be the second week, followed by Louisiana. All 3 state conventions, Georgia, Kentucky, Louisiana. We will be there live. We are starting to book shows just like we did with NRPA every 30 minutes, starting at 9 a.m. till I pass out, or around 4 o'clock when we get exhausted from interviews. But I won't be the only host. We're going to have, I think, 5 other show hosts that are going to help me interview people, similar to what you saw what Dave did towards the end of NRPA. Dave's going to be one of them. Tasha's going to be one of them. Aaron's going to be one of them. And then we have 2 others that are also going to be helping us out. So looking forward to that. I will be reaching out to, so if you are attending the GRPA, KRPA, or LRPA annual convention, and you'd like to come on for a 15, 20-minute interview to tell us about your either products or services. If you're a vendor, tell us about your city. If you're a Parks and Rec professional, tell us how the convention's going for you this year. Where do you think Parks and Rec is heading in your state or local area? We'd love to hear from you. Come on the stage live. And again, it's just 15, 20 minutes. But even if you don't come on live, please, if you see us out there, just come say hello, take a picture with us. I'd love to meet you all in person. And we will be attending those 3 states. It's going to be a very busy November. We're going to take all of October to kind of prep for that. But it looks like November is going to be a stacked month of in-person events. So, all right. So I'll be ending this shortly. We are getting ready to start the Youth Sports Mastery Show, hosted by Aaron Locks with the National Academy of Athletics. He is a 40-year veteran in youth sports and brings on some of the greatest athletic directors, coaches, athletes across America. Great show. He's been running, gosh, I think most of the year. I don't even know what show this is for him, but he does a great job, great host. And so stay tuned. That's going to start here in about 20 minutes. All right, Sherry, go ahead and hit the outro.
At DPR's Media Co., we believe Parks and Recreation isn't just a service, it's the heartbeat of our communities. We exist to honor the people, the vendors, and the leaders shaping the future of Parks and Rec. Our mission is simple: to tell their stories, highlight their careers, and celebrate their essential work. Our vision is bold: to be the trusted hub where leaders, vendors, and communities unite, inspiring innovation, sharing wisdom, and building a stronger, healthier nation. Through over 220 live shows and 6 weekly series, the Leadership Series, Facility Maintenance, Young Professionals Network, Youth Sports Mastery, The Rec Room, and Growing Leaders, plus our industry-leading newsletter, the weekly Parks and Rec Post, we're building a media platform made for the Parks and Rec community. And now, we're inviting strategic partners to co-create this story with us. As a partner, you'll gain 12 hours of annual live exposure with custom shows highlighting your expertise, polished 60-second promos refined for maximum impact, year-round visibility with dozens of replays across our media network, premium features in our newsletter, and amplified social media reach across LinkedIn, X, and Facebook. This is your chance to educate, inspire, and lead while connecting directly with the professionals who build, budget, and buy for their communities. This is DPRS Media Co. Let's build the future of Parks and Rec together.